of everything related to the excise tax implications of the region are well met by each and every company, be it they having their own base out here or just having customers as well. So we also have our colleagues out here who have joined us at the event. And of course, everyone online, thank you for joining. And we want to sort of kickstart by just giving you a little introduction about Andersen. Andersen is a global name, and we represent that particular name. We deal in different kinds of tax, which is excise tax, indirect tax, direct tax, and of course, we do additional service like business setup services, transaction advisory. So wherever businesses require consultation, advisory, we are right there. We do different kinds of things wherein we can actually either give you an advice, do a one-on-one, do a Q&A, give you an understanding of what exactly your business requires given the landscape of this region, that is GCC, UAE specifically. So we can give you an idea of exactly what happens where and help you decide or pick which specific type of business setup is good for your company or is good for the transactions you want to do. Moving on, just to introduce excise tax to you in the UAE. Gaurav, could you help me go to the next slide, please? We have a global presence in more than 380 locations around the world, and we have more than 1,800 global partners. So that's the reach of Andersen, and hence, wherever you're located in the world, around the globe, we can provide you our services. So the name is the same. The name is Andersen, but we have the same level of best-in-class services provided across the region and across the globe so that we can actually give you service each and every place where you are actually present. Moving on. That's our speaker. He's Gaurav Chugani. He's our expert on excise tax. So I request all of you to bring in your questions. Make sure that you have your questions lined up and understand what exactly we can answer, how can we exactly answer, and give you different ways in which you can actually achieve when it comes to tobacco industry specifically, because we are actually in the World Tobacco Middle East. I'll be passing on the mic now to Gaurav. He's going to give you an introduction about what exactly excise tax is and how we can actually help you guys out. So over to you, Gaurav.
A very good morning to everyone. So we are at the World Tobacco event here. It's a great exposure for us because we have all the big players over here wherein we can help each other and sort of guide each other from a tax perspective and from a what you might say company creation and sort of that perspective. So our main intention today is to be here, is to give you a guidance such that you do not have unwarranted penalties levied on you due to ignorance of law. So basically, excise tax was implemented in the UAE in 2017. That's the 1st of October 2017, wherein it was implemented on majorly products which are harmful to the environment or harmful to the, what you might say, the human beings. Mainly, it was implemented on tobacco and tobacco products, and it was levied at 100%. Secondly, there was a second phase of implementation wherein excise tax was implemented on 1st of December 2019, again at 100% for electronic devices and liquids used in that electronic devices. So basically, they covered cigarettes, they covered tobacco, and then they covered the liquid as well as the e-cigarettes. Okay. So there was two phases of implementation. Apart from that, what happened was that there was a lot of regime changes, a lot of what you might say changes brought in the forms, declarations, way of filing the returns. And then today we are standing here and we have a lot of what you might say changes coming up on a daily basis. What is an excisable event? Excisable event is basically an event wherein you have to pay excise tax. Where it could be when you're importing goods into the UAE, it could be when you're producing goods in the UAE, or when you're stockpiling goods, that is maintaining goods more than the quantity which you're allowed to maintain, or releasing the goods from a designated zone. A designated zone is basically an area where you can store goods without payment of excise tax duty. Okay. Or if you're consuming the goods within a designated zone, then also excise tax can be levied and you have to pay excise tax. So that is the basic agenda of excise tax in the UAE. There are designated zones made, that are free zones basically from excise perspective, where you can store your goods. Suppose you're wanting to bring your goods from outside UAE and you want to store it here, you can do that. That's not a problem. And what happens in that is basically you don't have to pay the excise tax if you're going to store those goods over there. And you can manufacture also over there without payment of excise tax. You can import also over there without payment of excise tax. Once those goods are left from there, you in the mainland, then only you have to pay the excise tax. So over here, we have seen that there are many, what you might say, players who have come in. Admit we can see that there are many players who are coming from overseas as well as from local. So whether they are required to register for excise tax or not, that is the first question. In most possible cases, they are required to register because what happens is, uh, if you even if you're doing business with the excise goods, even if you're a logistics partner, even if you're bringing in goods or even if you're storing goods, you are required to register. So a critical analysis has to be done for people who are bringing in goods in the UAE. Now people have bought in goods over here, excise goods in the UAE for the purpose of exhibition. Technically speaking, they're supposed to register for bringing the goods. But yeah, because it's an exhibition, we want to promote and showcase the goods. The exception has been granted, but from a legal perspective, there's no exception. There are products, right? There are a lot of products which you're getting in from outside UAE. So all those products are supposed to be registered with the brand sync. That is an official partner of FTA, where you need to register these products and then only clear these goods. We have seen a lot of companies giving freebies, free sample cigarettes, free tobacco. But to be very honest, that is not allowed because it has to be registered with the FTA and then tax has to be paid and then only goods have to be released. So people are distributing cigarettes and raw tobacco as samples. That's not allowed until unless the tax is paid. Now, if you're importing and exporting from the UAE, you're supposed to ensure that documentation, the process of export, and the manner in which the goods will be exported from the company is intact because there could be a possible exposure if the goods are not exported in the manner as the FTA wants, and if the documents of export are not maintained. We have seen that many overseas customers, what they do is that they maintain a local manufacturer in the UAE who helps them manufacture the goods. If they're doing that with the help of a local manufacturer, there could be a possible implication on them wherein they may have a requirement to register over here because they're manufacturing goods in the UAE. So this provision basically of registration can be applicable on overseas as well as on local players. A critical analysis of each and every one's transaction has to be done. Moving ahead, like we have discussed, there is a specific designated zone wherein you can import, produce, move goods from one DZ to another, or store goods without payment of tax. And that basically is an area where you can store your goods. That is basically a designated zone. Moving ahead, now there are few points which are important from my exhibition perspective. We have seen that most of the players are showcasing or import or displaying the imported goods, which could be a challenge because they're not supposed to bring these goods over here. There are goods which should have BTS tax stamps or digital tax stamps on the goods as well as on the master cases. They have not done that as well, and they have got the goods here. Again, that is a critical aspect, and there is a penalty for not doing that. Most of the people are not registered, but they are dealing in tobacco over here in the UAE. Okay, they're dealing it through some other person or maybe through the DZ. And we have seen that the excise tax compliance of these exhibitors over here are not compliant. We have seen that because freebies have been distributed. Most of them are not registered. They're supposed to register. Uh, from a designated zone perspective, who are manufacturing in a designated zone, they have challenges wherein if they are manufacturing and if there is a loss during production or if there is a moisture evaporation of there is a change in weight of the tobacco, those aspects are also supposed to be reported to the FTA, which in the past most of the manufacturers have not considered and not done. That could also be a challenge, and there is excise tax exposure in that. Points which are to be considered right now for the people who are present in the exhibition today is that they should either review the contracts or prepare the contracts in such a manner that the manufacturing agreement says what the actual intention is, whether they're here with the intention to do business. If they're here with the intention to do business, they have to register. if they're here just for the purpose of storing the goods, then they have to sort of take a registration just for the purpose of storing goods. That contract or that agreement or a document should substantiate what they're going to be doing. It can be the trade license, which can substantiate, okay, fine, they're just going to be storing the goods here. Because these activities have to be selected in the excise tax registration and been again uploaded. Now, there is one more thing related to excise DZ. Now, if we are dealing with excise DZs on a daily basis, and in most of the cases, we do not even know whether they are actually suspended or active, or whether they have a license, they have a default. So, what we should do is that we should ensure that all the DZs which we are dealing with are active and they are not suspended, and we should take a declaration on a regular basis. We should keep the updated TRN numbers and TRN certificates of these designated zones just to ensure that we are compliant and they are also compliant. So in most of the cases, we have seen that who are registered also, they're making a lot of mistakes while filing their day-to-day declarations for import, or maybe filing a day-to-day declaration for export or storage. They're making mistakes. So this could have a long-term penalty. There could be a long penalty, administrative penalty for this. And uh, compliance is something which is a complicated process for excise tax, and that has to be taken care of, and more guidance about that has to be provided. FTA has conducted audit, and they're conducting audit on a daily basis, wherein they're trying to identify people who could be a tax evader or could have missed to pay tax. And it's very easy in the supply chain to get hold of a person who's dealing in excise goods and have not paid tax, because the market is small and the supply chain is very well known to everyone. So if you're dealing with tobacco goods, and if you are in the supply chain, analyze whether you're required to register or not. There are few connects and few end-to-end support which we can provide you with. We can either help you with a full end-to-end solution with the FTA, that is with value-added tax, that is VAT, excise tax, customs, tax technology. We can help you with everything like that. We can help you with logistics. We can connect you to logistics players, the designated zone players, where you can store your goods, manufacture your goods, or maybe keep it for a long time. We can help you with manufacturers who are there, who can help you manufacture goods and sort of prepare it as per your fancy and as per your requirements. We know a lot of DZ players in the UAE who can help you do the entire import export transaction. Of course, your registration is not supposed to be challenged. In that case, you're supposed to register. Technical experts. We have technical experts who can give you guidance upon how you're supposed to register, or maybe whether your product is required to register or not, whether ASMA certificate is required, what all details are required for your product. We can help you with that. We have lawyers as well, if you're, because what happens is that excise is a very, what you might say, critical tax, wherein in most of the cases, the case goes to the court. So we have connects with lawyer who can help you out in the future. We have support with the customs authority as well. We know quite a few people over here who can help you clear the goods, export the goods, and sort of manage the goods within the UAE. We can help each company who are located outside UAE. If they want to set up over here, we can help them which free zone, which what you might say, which designated zone or which area could be best for them as per their requirements and as per their feasibility. So we are happy to take questions about what, how, when, what steps next, and we can happy to guide you guys. Whoever is interested, we are here the entire day in the stand, and anyone can come to us and sort of have a discussion and a round table with them. So over to Devina.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for the insights on excise tax, and thank you for sort of taking us through exactly how can we help businesses in terms of getting to the region, sort of functioning in the region, doing imports or exports in the region. So all of you, whatever questions you have, you can surely answer those questions. You can drop us an email on info@ae.andersen.com, or you can surely call us at 04-243-5666. You can drop us your questions there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that each one of you attended in person and via the webinar that is online. I drop you an email with all the PowerPoint presentation and a recording of the webinar so that you can keep it in your records and make sure that you go back to it. And if whenever you have questions, you can do that. Thank you so much. Thanks for all of you who attended. Thanks for everyone in person who attended it. It's great to sort of share our knowledge and make sure that whatever we have in terms of knowledge for excise tax of the region, we're able to communicate that to businesses and make sure that they can do good business out here in this region. So do get back to us with questions, and thanks a lot for attending. Thank you. Thanks. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks.